The last colony ship, Captain Marcus Webb, stared at the cracked viewport of the colony ship Defiant Dawn. Behind them, the last human world burned in nuclear fire. The Krillian Empire had finally completed their mission of human extinction. Or, so they thought. "Captain, we have 17,000 survivors aboard," reported Navigation Officer Diana Cross. Her hands shook as she read the numbers. "That's all that's left of humanity," Marcus nodded grimly. The Krillians had spent 50 years hunting down every human settlement, every colony, every space station. They called humans the Chaos Breed because humanity refused to follow their rigid social order. While other species submitted to Krillian rule, humans fought back. They asked questions. They challenged authority. They created when they should have obeyed. "Where do we go now, Captain?" asked Chief Engineer Ben Torres. "Every star system in known space belongs to the Krillian Empire. They'll hunt us wherever we run." Marcus looked at the star charts floating before him. The Krillians controlled everything within 50 light years. Beyond that lay the dark sector, a region of space considered too dangerous for any civilized species. Ancient warnings spoke of strange energies and impossible physics that drove explorers mad. "We go where they won't follow," Marcus said. "We go into the dark sector." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew the stories. Ships that entered the dark sector either never returned or came back empty. Their crews vanished without a trace. "Captain," Diana whispered, "no one has ever survived the dark sector." "No one has ever tried with human determination," Marcus replied. "We're not like the other species. We don't give up when things get impossible. We find a way." As the Defiant Dawn changed course toward the Forbidden region, strange readings began appearing on their sensors. The fabric of space itself seemed different here. Energy patterns that defied known physics danced across their instruments. "Captain," Ben called from his station, "the ship's engines are responding to something out there. It's like the dark. Sector is calling to us. Double quotes. Marcus felt it too. Something in his human DNA seemed to resonate with the strange energies ahead. While other species feared the unknown, humans had always been drawn to it. They were explorers by nature, pioneers who thrived in impossible conditions. "All hands, prepare for dark sector entry," Marcus announced over the ship's communication system. "We may be the last humans alive, but we're not the last humans who will ever live. We're going to find a new home, and we're going to build something the galaxy has never seen before." As the Defiant Dawn crossed into the dark sector, the stars around them began to change. Colors shifted. Reality bent. And deep in space, ancient technologies that had waited millions of years for the right species to find them began to awaken. The Krillians thought they had destroyed humanity. Instead, they had just set it free. The ancient discovery. 3 months into the dark sector, the Defiant Dawn stumbled upon something impossible. Chief Science Officer Victoria Kane couldn't believe her sensor readings as they approached a massive structure floating in the void. "Captain Webb, you need to see this," Victoria called. "It's a space station, but it's enormous. Bigger than anything we've ever seen." Marcus hurried to the science station. On the display was a structure that dwarfed their colony ship. It looked like a massive ring made of some unknown metal that seemed to shift and flow like liquid mercury. "How old is it?" Marcus asked. "According to our scans, at least 10 million years old," Victoria replied. "But Captain, it's still active. There's power running through it, and it's generating the same energy patterns we've been detecting throughout." The dark sector. Chief Engineer Ben Torres joined them, his eyes wide with amazement. "Captain, this technology is beyond anything the Krillians have. If we could understand how it works, ... Before Marcus could respond, the ancient station began to emit a low frequency signal. The bridge lights flickered, and suddenly holographic displays materialized throughout the ship. "It's scanning us," Victoria said, her voice filled with excitement rather than fear. "The station is trying to communicate." Images flashed across the holographic displays. They showed a species that looked remarkably similar to humans, but taller and more graceful. These beings were building incredible machines, harnessing the power of stars, and creating technologies that bent the laws of physics. "They're called the architects," Victoria translated as symbols appeared alongside the images. They were the first species to achieve true mastery over space and time. But they disappeared millions of years ago. The images continued, showing the architects' final message. They had foreseen the rise of oppressive empires like the Krillians, who had tried to control and limit other species. So they had hidden their greatest technologies in the dark sector, waiting for a species worthy of inheriting them. "The station is testing us," Marcus realized. "It's measuring our genetic patterns, our brain activity, our capacity for growth and adaptation." Suddenly, the holographic display showed a new image: humans. The architects had somehow predicted humanity's arrival. The display showed human genetic markers that perfectly matched the architects' requirements for their technological inheritance. "Captain," Navigation Officer Diana Cross called from her station. "The station is opening docking bays. It wants us to come aboard." As the Defiant Dawn docked with the ancient station, teams of humans explored its vast corridors. What they found changed everything. The architects had left behind blueprints for technologies that could manipulate matter at the atomic level, create energy from nothingness, and bend spacetime itself. But more importantly, they had left behind manufacturing facilities that were still operational after millions of years. "Captain," Ben Torres reported from deep within the station, "these machines can build anything we can imagine. Ships, weapons, habitats, even entire worlds. All we need is the knowledge to use them." Marcus looked around at his exhausted crew. The last remnants of humanity. They had arrived in the dark sector as refugees running for their lives. But as they stood in the halls of the architects, surrounded by technologies beyond their wildest dreams, he began to see a different future. "Start learning everything," Marcus ordered. "Every system, every blueprint, every secret the architects left behind. We're not just going to survive. We're going to become something the galaxy has never seen before." The new human fleet 2 years after discovering the architect's station, humanity had transformed beyond recognition. Commander Rachel Stone stood on the bridge of the Phoenix Rising, the first ship built using architect technology. Around her, a fleet of vessels unlike anything in the galaxy, prepared for their first mission back into known space. "Commander, all ships report ready," announced Communications Officer Tyler Park. "The fleet is awaiting your orders." Rachel looked at the tactical display showing 30 ships of incredible design. Each vessel incorporated architect technology that allowed them to phase through solid matter, generate energy shields that could deflect entire star fleets, and travel faster than any known propulsion system. But the ships were still unmistakably human in their design philosophy. Where other species built symmetrical, predictable vessels, human ships were adaptive and unconventional. They could reconfigure themselves in battle, split apart into smaller attack craft, or combine together into massive platforms. Chief Tactical Officer James Wright, status report on our capabilities. Rachel ordered. James smiled as he reviewed his systems. "Commander, each ship has the firepower of a Krillian battlecruiser, but we're half the size and 3 times faster. Our adaptive armor can deflect their weapons, and our phase drives let us appear anywhere on the battlefield without warning." "And our crews?" Rachel asked. 15,000 humans now serve in the fleet," reported Personnel Officer Lisa Grant. "Everyone trained on architect simulators that accelerated our learning by decades. We understand these technologies better than their original creators." The truth was that humans had proven uniquely compatible with architect technology. Where other species might have struggled with the complexity, human creativity and adaptability had allowed them to not just use the ancient machines, but improve upon them. "Commander," Tyler announced, "we're receiving distress signals from the Vespari system. A Krillian task force is attacking a peaceful trading station." Rachel's expression hardened. The Vespari were one of the few species that had tried to help humans during the exile. They had paid dearly for their compassion when the Krillians discovered their aid. "Set course for Vespari," Rachel commanded. "It's time to announce that humanity has returned." As the human fleet emerged from hyperspace near the Vespari system, chaos greeted them. 6 Krillian heavy cruisers were bombarding the trading station, while thousands of civilian ships tried to flee. "This is Fleet Admiral Zeektar of the Krillian Empire," came a transmission. "Identify yourselves immediately or be destroyed." Rachel opened a channel to the entire system. "This is Commander Rachel Stone of the Terran Shadow Fleet, Krillian Forces. You will cease your attack on civilians and withdraw immediately." Laughter echoed across the communication channel. "Terran? Humans are extinct. We made sure of that. Whatever pathetic survivors you represent will join your species in oblivion." "James, show them what extinct humans can do," Rachel said calmly. What happened next would be recorded in history as the Battle of Vespari. The human ships phased through the Krillian formation, their weapons tearing through advanced armor like paper. Krillian ships that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries found themselves outmaneuvered by vessels that seemed to dance between dimensions. In less than 10 minutes, the entire Krillian task force was either destroyed or fleeing in terror. "This is impossible," Admiral Zeektar transmitted as his flagship limped away. "What are you?" Rachel's response echoed across the galaxy as every species intercepted the transmission. "We are humanity. You tried to exterminate us. Instead, you set us free to become your worst nightmare. The Galactic War begins. The news of humanity's return spread across the galaxy like wildfire." In the grand capital of the Krillian Empire, Emperor Vexstar stared at the tactical reports with growing horror. "Impossible," he hissed to his military council. "We destroyed every human world, every colony, every ship. How can they have a fleet?" "General Mortok, the Empire's chief military strategist, studied the data from the Spari. My Emperor, their technology is unlike anything we've encountered. Their ships phase through our defenses, their weapons penetrate our strongest armor, and their speed makes our fastest vessels look stationary. Then we use overwhelming numbers," Emperor Vexstar declared. "Send the Grand Fleet. Crush these human insects before they can spread their chaos further." But as the Krillian Grand Fleet mobilized, other species throughout the galaxy were making their own decisions. The Threxians, who had been enslaved for 3 centuries, saw an opportunity for freedom. The Jelani Union, forced into tributary status, began secretly preparing their own fleets. On the bridge of the Phoenix Rising, now designated as the flagship of the growing Terran fleet, Commander Rachel Stone received reports from human intelligence networks. "Commander," reported Intelligence Officer David Chun, 17 different species have sent secret diplomatic messages. They want to join our fight against the Krillians." "And our fleet status?" Rachel asked. "We now have 150 ships operational," announced Tactical Officer James Wright. "The architect manufacturing stations are producing vessels faster than we can train crews for them. The Krillians are mobilizing their grand fleet," added Navigation Officer Kevin Wells. "Intelligence suggests over 2,000 ships are heading for the Nexus system, where our allies are gathering." Rachel studied the tactical display. The Nexus system was strategically vital, controlling hyperspace routes to 12 different sectors. If the Allies could hold it, they could cut the Krillian Empire in half. "Send word to all Allied fleets," Rachel ordered. "We make our stand at Nexus. This is where we prove that oppression ends when the oppressed fight back with superior technology. An unbreakable will." As human and Allied fleets converged on the Nexus system, the Krillian Grand Fleet arrived in overwhelming numbers. 2,000 Krillian ships faced 600 Allied vessels. By traditional military doctrine, the outcome should have been certain. But humans had never followed traditional doctrine. "All ships implement Shadow Wolf formation," Rachel commanded. The human fleet scattered into small groups, each using their phase drives to appear and disappear unpredictably across the battlefield. Krillians found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to engage in conventional battle. Human ships would materialize behind their formations, deliver devastating attacks, and vanish before return fire could reach them. Meanwhile, Allied species who had fought defensively for centuries watched in amazement as humans demonstrated new possibilities. The Threxians saw that overwhelming force could be defeated by superior tactics. The Zelani learned that advanced technology could overcome numerical disadvantage. As the battle raged, something unexpected happened. Human engineers began broadcasting architect technological blueprints to their allies in real time. Threxian ships suddenly found their weapons upgraded. Xylani vessels discovered their shields reinforced with human innovations. "Commander," James Wright reported with excitement, "the Allied fleets are adapting our technology on the fly. They're becoming as dangerous as we are." By the end of the Battle of Nexus, the mighty Krillian Grand Fleet was in full retreat. They had lost over 800 ships, while the Allies had lost fewer than 50. But more importantly, the galaxy had seen that the Krillian Empire could be defeated. The rise of the Terran Empire 5 years after the Battle of Nexus, the galaxy had completely transformed. Emperor Rachel Stone, formerly Commander Stone, stood in the throne room of Terra Nova, humanity's new capital world built around a massive architect station. "Your Imperial Majesty," announced Foreign Minister Thomas Clark, "the Krillian Empire has officially surrendered. Emperor Vextar is requesting an audience to discuss terms." Rachel smiled as she looked out at the bustling space around Terra. Nova. Hundreds of ships from dozens of species moved in peaceful commerce. The oppressive silence that had once marked Krillian space had been replaced by the vibrant chaos of free trade and cultural exchange. "And the status of our allies?" Rachel asked. "The Threxian Republic has established full independence," reported Defense Minister Patricia Adams. "The Zelani Union has reclaimed all their former territories. 17 other species have formed. The Allied Confederation with humanity as the leading member." The transformation had been remarkable. Humans had shared architect technology freely with their allies, but they had done something more important. They had taught other species to think like humans, to question authority, to innovate constantly, to never accept that something was impossible. "Your Majesty," Interior Minister William Foster added, "our population has grown from 17,000 survivors to over 50 million citizens across 43 worlds. The architect life extension technologies have given us time to rebuild." "Everything we lost, and our fleet?" Rachel inquired. 5,000 ships and growing," Admiral Lisa Grant reported. "But more importantly, we've established the Galactic Defense Academy. We're training officers from allied species in human tactical doctrine and architect technology." The door to the throne room opened, and Emperor Vextar of the former Krillian Empire entered under heavy guard. The once proud ruler looked broken and defeated. "You wish to see me?" Rachel asked calmly. I don't understand," Vextar stammered. "We had you beaten. We destroyed your worlds, scattered your people. How did you become this?" Rachel stood and walked closer to the fallen emperor. "You made a fundamental mistake about humanity. You thought our chaos was weakness. You saw our refusal to submit as a flaw to be eliminated. But we were superior. Vexstar protested. Our technology, our organization, our discipline. Your technology was static, Rachel replied. Your organization was rigid. Your discipline was blind obedience. We took your greatest strength and made it your greatest weakness. She gestured to the viewport showing the bustling space around Terra Nova. You see chaos. We see infinite possibility. You tried to create order by eliminating everything different. We created order by celebrating everything different and making it stronger. What will you do with us? Vexstar asked quietly. The same thing we've done with every species that joins the Terran Empire, Rachel said. We'll teach you to be free. Your people will learn that strength comes not from oppressing others, but from helping them become stronger than they ever thought possible. As guards escorted the former emperor away, Rachel returned to her throne. Through the viewport, she could see ships from dozens of species working together, exploring new worlds, building impossible technologies, and creating a future that no single species could have imagined alone. Thomas, she said to her foreign minister, draft a message to be sent throughout the galaxy. Let every species know that the age of oppression is over. The Terran Empire stands ready to help any world that chooses freedom over submission, growth over stagnation, and hope over fear. As the message transmitted across the galaxy, carrying humanity's promise to the stars, Rachel reflected on their incredible journey. They had started as refugees fleeing extinction. They had become the architects of a new galactic order. The humans had not just survived. They had shown the entire galaxy what it meant to be truly free. And this was only the beginning of their empire among the stars.